What does this thing mean to me? Well, it means quite a bit to me, and more so than just the camera, because the camera is a tool at the end of the day. Photography in general has really become a very important part of my life, and I'm happy to be exploring that with you guys. I appreciate you guys joining me for the ride. Throughout this video, I'm going to talk about who I am, why I love photography, what I shoot with, some of my favorite photos, and what I want to do in the future with both photography and this channel. First things first, my name is Mina Andrawas, and I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and my main interests with photography are street, portrait, and event photography. So all those are so fun to me. Besides photography, my full-time job is as a software engineer. And after that, I try to get outside of the house because I'm sitting on my butt most of the day. And that's why street photography really appeals to me too. It's because there's a lot of walking around, meeting people, just being outside. So it's a good opportunity to explore my city in a unique and interesting way. Now, today, photography kind of gives me a creative outlet to capture the world as I see it. Now, that might sound cliche, but the fact is that there's so much beauty to this world, and a lot of it just falls by the wayside because after a while it just becomes mundane. It's easy to forget how beautiful the light is when it hits a subject just the right way, when you're moving too quickly and you're trying to get to your destination. So photography acts as a way of meditation for me. It allows me to appreciate the small things that happen every single day and hopefully capture them in the way that I see it. That's really my intention with taking photos and sharing them with you guys. For a long time, I actually contended with whether or not photography was an art form in itself. And recently I've been contending with that less and less. I've kind of come to terms with there's so much beauty in the world, and it is art to be able to capture that. If you give 10 people cameras, they will all take different photos from different angles based on what they think looks good. So there is subjectivity there, which I think is a major part of art. But also, the more that I learn, the more that I realize that I don't know anything. Really, I know very little about photography, and that's humbling. And also gives me hope because it is something that I aspire to be better at. And it's within reach because I am genuinely passionate about this kind of stuff. And I'm happy to make these videos and share that with all of you guys. I'm reading a book right now. It's called The Art of Photography. I highly recommend it. But it's kind of going through photography from the bare bones to more complex topics. Right now, I'm reading about mastering light, which is kind of the core of photography in general. This is something that I really didn't appreciate up until recent years, how much light has an impact in photography, which is silly to say out loud because that's kind of the whole point. So all in all, this channel is a way for me to talk about photographers that I like, things that I learn through my study of photography and photographers, and my growth through street photography as well as other genres of photography. Now, my gear. And honestly, this is probably the least important part of this video. Speaking of great photographers that I love to learn about and aspire to be like, many of them had much worse gear than I have. I would venture to say most of them had much worse gear than I have. This camera was released a couple years ago, the a6600, the Sony. But at the end of the day, like I said, they understood light on a different level than I do. And I can only hope to have an inkling of how they perceive light. So I try to remind myself that my camera isn't everything. And, APS-C is plenty. It's plenty for me. It's probably plenty for you. If you're not doing professional work, if you're not taking photos at weddings, it's probably enough. But a couple of lenses that I have. I am recording on the 30mm Sigma 1.4 right now. I also have the Sigma 18 to 50mm, but 90% of the time, I just have this 30mm on here. There are instances where it's a little too zoomed in, it's a little tight, so it's difficult in indoor situations, but outdoors, it is honestly the perfect lens. Now, convenience is a big reason why I also love my APS-C camera. The fact that it is so small and portable compared to a full frame camera with giant lenses which, undoubtedly have their place in the world. But I genuinely believe if something is important to you, you will make it convenient. When I get my little 18 to 50 millimeter lens and I go out for a day of street photography, there's very little friction there. And that's a big reason why I got this 18 to 50 when I was also considering the 17 to 70 millimeter lens, even though that has stabilization and extended zoom range, which would be really nice. But at the end of the day, it was a lot bigger than this 18 to 50. So that's just another example as to what convenience can do for you. It is the path of consistency and the path of growth. So again, if you care about something, I really think you should make it as convenient as possible. I'm excited to share these with you guys, and I think looking over your old photos and talking through what you like about them, what you don't like about them, is an extremely important part of photography. It's how you grow. It's like looking at film as film is a bad word because film is a thing in photography, but as an athlete, if you record your game, it's like looking at your game back and seeing where you can improve, what you liked about what you did, and how other people perceive your photo in general. So the first photo that I want to show you guys is this one. This was taken downtown Charleston on a street photography session. Actually, a couple of videos ago, I recorded this moment. It was a pretty sunny day, and I loved the contrast of the people just sitting on the edge of the shade that the canopy provides there. And the composition's just so beautiful, honestly. How the branches cradle the two individuals. Now, the colors here are kind of nostalgic, even though it was taken relatively recently. I love the warmer tones, and I think that it just shows beautiful camaraderie between two soul individuals in a vast field, while nature protects them from the elements. Now, this next one I love for different reasons. The simplicity of this one really shines. This was by the ocean, by Folly Beach, South Carolina, and the orange of the sun beautifully contrasts with the blue from the sky and the water. The total absence of details on the bird here allows the viewer to solely focus on the perfect silhouette, and I love the shape. It's so readable, the sun in the background, and the way that this image is almost cut in half is also just so satisfying. This is one of my favorite images that I've taken at the beach, actually. And it does not include the water or the sun. Well, actually the sun's there, but no water, no sand, just bird. This third one is special to me because this was one of my first black and white street photos, and it kind of helped me internalize why black and white is so amazing for street. The colors weren't really emphasizing any particular part of the image, so black and white strengthens it by allowing the viewer to focus on textures, tones, and lines instead of any colors that might be distracting. The building in the background is a perfect backdrop with the textures going all the way to the edge of the frame. It's uniform enough to not be distracting, but also interesting enough to provide some interest. I really like this one. I think it works pretty well. Now, this next one was taken during a recent trip to Yosemite National Park in California. I really love this one because it focuses on the gravity of nature and the smallness of us humans. If you could see on the left side there are two little people, and it really gives you a sense of scale for these massive mountains. It's almost impossible to imagine the massiveness of these mountains, but when you see the size of the people, it just blows my mind every time. And the snowman to the right acts as a balance to the two individuals on the left there. So I think a lot of things about this photo work. Now, the last one that I'm going to show you is my favorite self-portrait that I've taken on the street. I love this one from the moment that I took it. I knew it was kind of special. The off-center graffiti just adds some grittiness. The way that my hair perfectly contrasts the white building behind me is just so satisfying. The arrow subtly directing the viewer back to the middle of the screen, and it works even better in black and white. And finally, what's in my future for this channel and photography in general. But first, if you are still watching this, I want to let you know that I genuinely appreciate you. I fully aware, still a very small channel, but I do intend to change that. So if you want to help in any way, leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing, all of those things would be so amazing. Seriously. I'd appreciate it more than you know. But anyways, I'll get into what's next for this channel. My long-term goal is to improve my ability to storytell. I want to express the beauty that is in this world every single day through writing, through photography, through creating, and I can do that with this channel. I'm really excited to share that journey with you guys. I'm going to continue doing street photography sessions and deep dives into famous photographers to see what we can learn from them, because oftentimes we kind of get stuck in our own bubble, and it's nice to take a step back and see how other individuals who are very talented in their own right did things differently. So we can pick and choose what we would like to add to our arsenal of creation and work with that. Now, I'm always open to new ideas, so if you have any ideas whatsoever, I implore you to send me a message or comment them down below. With all that said, I look forward to making many more videos like this, many more street photography videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.